A haunting is a paranormal phenomenon of either the appearance of a spirit or supernatural being, or an action or event that took place at a specific location in the past. In this video we count down 5 haunted houses from around the world. Ordsall Hall. The oldest parts of the hall were built in the 15th century. However, a house has been on the site for more than 750 years. The original hall was owned by David de Holton and was built in 1251. Like most old buildings, Ordsall Hall has its fair share of haunted stories. The hall's most famous ghost is the White Lady. She has been reported to walk around the halls and the Star Chamber holding a candle. The White Lady's true identity remains in question, although there have been many suggestions as to who she could have been in life. Some people believe that she is Queen Elizabeth's first maid of honour, while others think that she is Margaret Radcliffe, who died in 1599, just a few days after her brother's death. There's also stories that the White Lady is the ghost of a bride who was left waiting at the altar for her groom. She was so grief-stricken that she was said to have jumped from the Great Wall to her death. Chillingham Castle is widely regarded as one of the most haunted places in the country, with hundreds of paranormal events being recorded. Dating back over 800 years, this castle was built for one purpose and one purpose alone: killing. In the heart of Northumberland, the castle was the first line of defence, preventing the Scots getting over the border to invade England back in the day of William Wallace, when the castle was ruled over by King Edward I. The dungeon is a very small room with markings scratched into the mortar, where prisoners have kept count of how many days they have left to live. The prisoners could expect to have their arms and legs broken before being thrown down 20 foot into a hole into the dungeon, and left there to die either from starvation or their injuries. It's been reported that if you look down through the grate covering the dungeon, you can see the remains of a little girl looking back at you. These are the remains of the last person to be killed here. Many people have experienced things here. Orbs have been seen and photographed, and some people have actually picked up emotions from the room. The room has a depressing feel to it. Sam Powell was the last mayor of Philadelphia under British rule, and then the first mayor of independent Philadelphia. He purchased this house in 1769. In 1965, a respected historian, Edward Moore, reported seeing General Lafayette and several other ghosts of Continental Army officers ascending the staircase. Moore's wife reported seeing the ghost of a young woman in the drawing room. She also saw a woman fanning herself and smiling. It's said that if the young woman stamps her foot twice, she then disappears. The Molly Brown house was built in the 1880s, and it's famous for one of its inhabitants in particular, Mrs. Brown herself, who was present at and surviving the sinking of the famous ship the Titanic. In 1970, the house was set for demolition, but a group of citizens who formed Historic Denver raised funds and saved the house. It's now open today as a museum. The building is said to be haunted by Molly and her husband. Reports from people include things such as blinds opening and closing on their own, shadowy figures and sudden cold spots, especially in Molly's bedroom. Probably the most common report is the strong smell of cigar smoke. Even though it's a non-smoking house and the smell comes from empty rooms, Molly's husband was said to be a regular cigar smoker. Another apparition of the house is said to be a woman in a Victorian dress. She's said to rearrange the furniture and has been captured on film. Salisbury Hall and the house where it's located were built by Gilbert de Southworth in 1325. It was the family's primary home until the early 1600s. The hall was built with the purpose of replacing a building which was destroyed during the raid of the Scots back in 1322. Salisbury Hall's ghostly reputation has prompted several paranormal investigators to investigate it. The legendary White Lady is the hall's most popular ghost. It's said that the White Lady is the ghost of Dorothy Southworth. Lady Dorothy fell in love with a young man who was a member of the de Horton family. Unfortunately, she came from a Catholic family and the de Hortons were Protestants. The two lovers were never given permission to marry. They defied their family and continued to see each other. They planned to elope and marry each other, but someone got wind of their engagement, and it was reported back to the Salisbury Hall. On the night of their arranged elopement, the lady's brother waited in ambush. The lady's brother sprang from his hiding place and killed the young man, as well as his two companions. They were hastily buried in the chapel grounds. The saddest part about it all was that Dorothy was there to witness all of it. Lady Dorothy's spirit has lingered in the halls. She is often seen floating down the many corridors of the halls, crying for the love she lost. So that was 5 haunted houses. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more countdown videos.